Welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and today we're taking a look at this week's pre-orders, and they are live. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and some Horus Heresy content. Daily videos, reactions, reviews, news, painting, modeling, conversion tutorials. Make sure you check out the playlist, but most importantly, like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. So this week we have the Saturday pre-orders, an explosion of new paints and made-to-order mutations. So if you have been in a cave or under a rock, you may have missed that there is a new expansion line for the contrast paints coming out. Painting is at the heart of Warhammer hobby. In fact, we think paint makes Warhammer, which is why the Citadel color team are always looking for new ways to expand your options. It's time to say hello to 25 new contrast paints, 7 new shade paints, and a reformulated range, as well as brilliant new white spray. There's also plenty coming made to order, and remember, all paints is on a 2-week pre-order, so you've got time to brace your painting table to take on all of these new pots. Alright, so what do we know? We know there's 25 new contrast paints. We've heard mixed reviews from a lot of them. Some seem like they are definitely going to be integrated into your necessity range or very useful. Others less so, but the idea is to kind of fill the gap with some of the existing range. So 25 new contrast paints. The truth is, I don't know which ones are amazing and which ones aren't. I've seen a couple of reviews from people that have signed the NDA working with Games Workshop. You never know if those reviews are straight up or if they're going to be obviously tilted towards bias, because one, if you get a product for free, it's easier to create value because you didn't pay for it, and two, you're under legal, basically like required by your contract to speak good about GW. That being said, at least one review that I saw seemed like a good one, and it was the one done by Sigmar Miniatures. They are a big channel. They are pretty straight up about their reviews in the past. They have done good reviews and bad reviews. They tell it how it is. It's a great channel, obviously one of the biggest in the space, and I take what they say as honest. And the truth is, after watching his video, it seemed pretty clear that probably a handful of these paints are awesome and very useful, and the majority of them you will probably never use or use once or twice and then just sit on the shelf. So that being said, if I wasn't planning on reviewing these to give you guys my honest opinion, as someone that has used contrast paints every single day, literally, as I'm a commission painter for now multiple years, I am going to go ahead and pick up the entire line, and then I'm going to give you guys my straight up review on each individual paint and then show off which ones are good. I also have a video I'm working on currently with the existing line of contrast paints and like my favorite 10 or 12 that I think everybody should have, and then we'll do an expansion with a couple of these also. So that being said, as far as the shade paints go, again, I have seen some shades used, but the biggest issue with the shade paints, and basically what I predicted ahead of time, was that we were going to see the shade paints decrease from the 24 milliliter pots down to the 18 milliliter pots, which obviously is the case now. I have a big issue with that because Games Workshop specifically came out and said when they announced the price increases coming that no prices of any of their paints were going to go up. They specifically said we are not going to raise the price of our paints. So instead of actually raising the price on the paints, what did they actually do? They switched the shade paints from the 24 milliliter containers down to the 18 milliliter containers. So you get 25% less paint for the same price. But in all actuality, if you get 25% less paint, you're essentially paying more money. Therefore, they have raised the prices. If I was previously selling you a quantity of one of an item for $1, and then I now sell you half of the quantity of that item still for $1, the price has gone up per unit of measurement. Therefore, it's an increase. So therefore, Games Workshop lied. Now, that doesn't surprise me at all. And I know some people don't like it when I'm negative towards Games Workshop, but the truth is, I just tell the truth. Part of what I love about my channel and, my ability is I can tell you guys the truth. And the truth is, it's a, scummy tactic to raise prices and not tell people what's really happening. And when you decrease the size of the container, you decrease the amount of volume you get, you are raising prices. So that being said, I don't know that the new shades are going to be better or worse. Again, I've seen some reviews and stuff. They look okay. I understand what they're getting at and what they're trying to do, but also I have an issue with whenever you reformulate something that already works. I use Nuln Oil, I use Agrex Earthshade, and I use Reikland Flesh Shade like literally by the gallon. I mean, I go through the stuff like crazy And the reason that I'm willing to pay $8 per pot, previously 24 milliliters, now 18 milliliters, is because it works so well and I know what I'm getting every time. The main issue I have seen with the new shades and the reformulated shades is that they don't work the same way. They actually work slightly better initially because they have put something essentially like a flow improver type substance into the shades now, so they don't dry as much on the raised areas of the model, and they sink down more into the cracks without leaving like the little bit of like shade film, which is good in a sense if that's what you're trying to avoid. Unfortunately, there's side effects of that. One is when you apply a shade over an entire model, it darkens up. Say you have red and you have black and silver and all this other stuff, and you just shade over the top the whole model with some nullin oil. It makes the red darker all over, but way darker down in the cracks. And then when you do a highlight with that same color of red, now that second or that first highlight you did now gives you the really dark color in the recesses, the like medium dark color that's on kind of everything, and then also your initial color back there. So now you have 3 different colors, clearly discernible, and a nice like blend essentially. And that's what we're used to, and it works extremely well. That's why I love Games Workshop shades so much. The problem is that now you're losing one of those colors, because essentially if you don't get that leftover kind of black on the raised surfaces, it's unnecessary to do that highlight, which is a good thing when you initially look at it, because you say, okay, now I don't have to do that first red highlight, so now I can just go in with my next red highlight, which is a brighter red, and now I have the darkest color, the medium color, and then the initial color that's still left over because no new paint got on it, and then also the new highlight. So that's good in a sense. But the problem is that now, because they've added flow improver, when it dries down in the cracks, and again, this is literally just from what I've seen on everyone else's videos and heard a couple people mention, when it dries down in the cracks now, it dries glossy, which was my issue with some of the shades to begin with, is that before they dried matte, but if you use too much of them, they dry like glossy down in the crack, and now it sounds like it's much worse. So the problem is that they changed it for what they think is better, but in my opinion, they may have made the entire shade range actually worse. So again, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know for sure. Obviously, the fact that they cost more or the same price and you get less is worse, because, you know, no matter how good they work, you're paying more for them regardless. So I'm not sure that they've actually been improved, because part of the improvement may have actually caused, you know, an issue as well. Because if they dry glossy down in the cracks, you might as well just buy some other knockoff shades, or, you know, make your own, etc. Because that's what a lot of the cheaper shades do, which is why I use GW shades. So that being said, we'll have to see what's going on here. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up any of the shades right away. Eventually I'm going to have to, because I'm going to run out of my stock of all the shades that I use on a regular basis. So that being said, we'll see. I really liked how Games Workshop shades worked before, so I don't think it's good that they changed them. I would rather they just put them in a smaller bottle and didn't mess with them, because they already work phenomenally well. So, but who knows? Maybe I will be wrong, and maybe those videos I saw were wrong, and they're going to actually turn out awesome. But the truth is, there's a bunch of new shades coming out as well. I will pick up the new shades, but I'm not going to just rebuy new versions of all the shades that I have. I'm just going to slowly replace them as I run out. So that being said, I am going to pick up the entire contrast line. I will let you guys know how they work. I will use them, and I will give you my honest opinion. But right off the bat, definitely sucks that they have essentially raised the prices on shades by decreasing how much you get and still charging the same price. Scummy tactic, often used in business, but the biggest part is not only have they done a scummy tactic with the shrinkflation, but they also lied, because they said they weren't going to be raising prices. Now, granted, we're in a crazy situation. A lot of companies are raising prices on things, so it's not a surprise. But when you come out and say you're specifically not going to raise prices on something and then you do, that's what I don't like, because now you're a liar and you're using scummy tactics. So again, some people are going to be mad about this video. I'm sure I'm going to lose a few subscribers, but the truth is, I got to keep it real with you guys, because part of what my issue is with the whole NDA and people working directly with Games Workshop is they no longer can keep it real. So they're basically selling out their community, because if I don't tell you guys the truth, I'm being shady towards you. So if I sign an NDA and now I can't tell you guys the truth, I'm getting a benefit, and then you're getting less use out of me and my channel. So that is what my issue is. I'm not hating on anyone that signed the NDA. Everybody has their own situation. Everybody, you know, loves getting free stuff. Maybe it doesn't affect the content that a lot of people were creating. You know, it's not a personal attack against anyone that signed the NDA. I'm just saying, me personally, I like where I'm at. And I like being honest with you guys and being real with you guys and giving you guys experience, especially when it comes to paints, because I am a commissioned painter, and that is obviously what funds all of this channel and everything we do here. So that being said, we have the new paints coming out. They're exactly what I expected. Stealth price increases on all of the shade paints. And then on top of that, we actually have one other situation as well. So quite a few members of the community who own stores or have close friends that own stores, etc., have reached out to me and told me that there's also an issue with ties into what I was basically saying in advance, which is essentially when Games Workshop does a 2-week pre-order period, the reason they're doing that 2-week pre-order period is to benefit themselves exclusively, because they make a lot more money when they sell directly to customers and cut out the middleman. If they sell to the middleman, they sell at a discount, and then the middleman sells at retail or MSRP to the final consumer. So the middleman gets a cut, Games Workshop gets their cut. When they sell directly to you through the web store or through a Games Workshop store, the cut doesn't get taken out in the same way. So Games Workshop makes a lot more money when they sell them. So when they do the 2-week pre-order period, they always come out first and tell stores, hey, we're not sure how much of this product we're going to have, so put in how much you want, and then if we have enough, we'll ship it to you. Otherwise, eventually you'll get it. They also put out weird restrictions, like for instance, you cannot buy individual colors. You have to buy the entire line, and you have to display the entire line and have it available to, for people to buy. So now not only can they not sure when they're going to get it and not sure if they're going to get it, and they have to, presume how much they're going to want in advance without their customers being able to guarantee that they're going to get one, as soon as it's released. But now on top of that, they have to buy everything. So that causes a lot of problems for stores, because now they may, maybe they know they're going to sell a bunch of the new contrast paints or a bunch of the new shades or certain popular colors or the primer or something like that. Now they have to buy everything, the whole line. So it might literally take them months or even years just to recoup the amount of money that they spend on that, so that they're profitable or at least back to break even, and then slowly over time they can sell off the product and make some profit off of it. But in the meantime, they're basically just storing a bunch of product trying to just get back to break even, which is what any business is going to do, and it makes sense. But the issue is that now GW funnels all those sales because they create this artificial, scarcity or FOMO in the community. Everybody wants the hot new thing. Your store is not sure if they're going to get it because there's limited amounts. So then people just say, well, I really want it. I want it right away. So I'll just pay full price and go straight through GW. And then maybe they were going to order some of the paints and, they can't get a couple of them, so they have to get all of them. So maybe you just go to the GW store or the website instead. So in the end, this is a really just overall, shady release. I hate to use a pun here, but let's be real. Everything about this is shady. The stealth increases, the FOMO, the 2-week pre-order period, all of this is specifically just to benefit Games Workshop. And then the truth is, the same thing that happened with Dominion is going to happen after this. I guarantee it. As soon as GW finishes the 2-week pre-order period, they didn't sell nearly as much as they were hoping, then they will just start filling all the orders to the shops, which is good for the shops. But unfortunately, a lot of those shops probably lost sales to Games Workshop directly because they couldn't guarantee, customers that they were going to have this in stock. So when it's all said and done, it's definitely, in my opinion, a shady situation and handled very poorly. It does not surprise me because that's obviously the reputation that GW has, and they consistently do things like this. And you know what? I get it. They just want to make money. That's all they care about. We know that. It's no surprise. When it's all said and done, though, I will pick up all the contrast paints. I will pick up the new shades, and then I will give you guys my honest opinion on all of them, and it will be a non-biased opinion from someone who goes out and spends their own hard-earned money on these products. And that way I can tell you, hey, is this really worth $7.80 per paint or not? Because the truth is, most of these are not. And I love contrast paints. I swear by them. I literally use them almost every single day of my life since the day they came out. I have the entire range. I love Citadel shades. Most people think I'm crazy because I use $8 pots of shades when I could literally use Army Painter or another brand for like $2 or $3. And the truth is, I use them because they work phenomenally well and they're consistent. Some of the other ones have their own little flaws. Some leave a little more of a glossy color in the cracks. Some leave a little more of like a dirty pigment over top of the painting surface. So that's why I have always used the Citadel shades almost exclusively Now that being said, things might change because they've reformulated them, and it sounds like one of the main flaws that I have used Citadel for, and that all the competition had, like the gloss down in the cracks, it sounds like now the Citadel paints are doing the same thing. So we'll wait and see. I will pick up all the new ones, and then I will give you guys my honest opinion. I may pick up something like Nuln Oil as well to compare it exactly to the existing Nuln Oil, but I'm not going to buy like all the greens and the purples and all the stuff, because the truth is I've been commission painting for literally years, and many of the other shades I still have the same exact pot of shade that I had from literally years ago. So there's no reason for me to just have another one sitting on the shelf next to that one, especially if I still have the old one. Unless there's a noticeable difference and they're actually better, I'm not going to just willingly, purposefully switch over to the new shades. But over time, as I run out and I can't get them anymore, I will switch to the new shades or alternative brands. So that being said, going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Let me know what you think. Have you seen some reviews? What looks good to you? What looks bad to you? Did you hear about some of the shady tactics and things going on at your local store? Are they having issues getting in any of the new contrast paints or shades? Did they have issues because they didn't want to buy the whole line and that was part of the requirements? So now they're not going to get any of them, at least initially. I always like to hear back from you guys. Obviously, you know, this is a little bit of a negative video. I'm super excited for these, but there's so many shady things about this whole situation. It's just like red flag after red flag after red flag. I do not like when people are dishonest about situations like this, like saying specifically you're not going to raise prices and you do. I don't like, you know, the shady tactic of shrinkflation. Why didn't GW come out and say, hey, just so you know, we are downgrading these paints from 24 to 18 ounces or milliliters, so you're going to have a limited amount of time to get the old stuff, pick it up while you can, get what you want, because we did make some changes. Now immediately you try to go and find a lot of the old shades, and not only, you know, they used to be $7.80 USD. Now not only are they hard to find, but people are trying to sell like pots of Nuln Oil and Reichland and some of the old shades. They're selling for like $25 and $30, at least listed. I don't know if people are buying them, but now they've created like false scarcity for the old product, and it just is ridiculous. So that being said, we're going to wrap it up there. That's my rant slash pre-orders for this week. And then if we just switch over to GW's website, we can see they're priced exactly. That was my guess, was $195. All I did was take $7.80 and times it by 25. And then same thing for the paints, $148.20 for the shade range right here. I might have said shade here, but that's the contrast. All they did was take $7.80 and times it by the amount of shades here. You get a free mug. So that's what it is. You pay full price, you get a free mug. You buy every single one of these contrast paints or shades, you get a free mug. That's their big deal. So there's a couple other things, the trophies and some other stuff here, but not a lot to look at. Obviously, we see all the individuals listed for $70, $80 a piece. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there. That is it for today. Let me know what you think down below. Like and subscribe, obviously, for daily content. Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and some Horus Heresy. Reactions, reviews, news. Check out the playlist. We got tons of painting, modeling, conversion tutorials. And as I said, I am a commission painter. We have a commission studio, and we show off all the paint jobs, the armies, the expansion forces, the models as they go out. So we have a lot of those videos as well to check out. And we always explain the tactics, what paints were used, and methods of creating custom bases, conversions, etc. So that is it for today, Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.